RTO here. Welcome to another live album ranking. And that means it's Friday. And today we have got blue skies, lovely winter's autumn day. A bit chilly outside, but it's a very nice day today. So today we are looking at one of my favourite progressive bands from America, Kansas. Love their live albums. They're all good regardless of who's playing on them. They put on a good show. They all sound good. Even some of their sort of 80s stuff sounds really good live, which with most bands, I think, once they take this 80s stuff out on the road, it does sound a lot better. And up to this moment in time, Kansas have released 7 live albums. So we'll have a look at these. So coming in at number 7. Now this is a quite an odd one. It was first released in 1998 as the King Biscuit Flower Hour Presents Kansas. That's that cover. And then they repackaged it in 2001 and called it Dust to the Wind. Basically, it's the same album, but with a different cover. And some of the tracks are in a different order. So, playing in Kansas at this time was Steve Walsh, vocals and keyboards, Steve Morse on the guitar, Rich Williams as ever on the guitars, Greg Robert additional keyboards, Billy Gear on the bass, and Phil Earhart on the drums. Tracks we got on here is Magnum Opus, a little bit of that, One Big Sky, Paradox, Point of No Return, The Wall, All I Wanted, T.O. Witcher, Dust in the Wind, Miracles of Nowhere, The Preacher, House on Fire, which is pretty good on here, full 12-minute version, and Carry On Wayward Son. It's not a bad album, but the trouble with these King Biscuit Flower Hours, they're not very well edited. There's some nice songs on here, but they're a little bit, I don't know what they do with their albums. I really don't. So it's still a good listen though, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Coming in at number 6 then, we dive to 2009 now, with an album called There's No Place Like Home. This was recorded in Topeka, Kansas, with the Washburn University Symphonic Orchestra. And the band at the time was Steve Walsh, Rich Williams, David Ragsdale on the violin, Billy Gear, Phil Earhart. Guest musicians on here are Larry Baird. Kerry Giving comes on, and so does Steve Morse. So I've got some of the old boys come back for this one. Opens up with Howling at the Moon, which is a little excerpt from Magnus Opus, of course. Then Belex's Point of No Return, Song for America, is brilliant on here. On the other side, and then we get Moscato, which is an orchestral arrangements. Ghosts and Rainmaker, pretty good. Nobody's Home, Hold On, the Cheyenne Anthem, Icarus 2, Icarus Born on the Wings of Steel's Miracles of Nowhere, pretty cool version of that. The Wall, Fight Fire with Fire, all these great tracks from the band. Dust in the Wind, Carry On Wayward Son, and Down the Road. A really good album with the orchestra. A very, very good listen. It's on DVD as well, and the whole concert is also on YouTube, so people can go and check it out. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, then coming in at number 5, go to an album released in 1992, It's live at the Whisky. On here we got Steve Walsh, Rich Williams, David Ragsdale, Greg Robert on the keyboards, Billy Greer on the bass, Phil Earhart. I can't keep calling you Mehart. Don't know if it's Earhart or Earhart. Drums, guest musicians on here. Kerry Livergreen plays guitar on Dust in the Wind and Carry On Wayward Son and Lonely Street. And Dave Hope does bass on Lonely Street. So we get this in introduction. Then we get Howling at the Moon from Magnus Opus. Paradox, great version with Point of No Return, one of my favourite songs. Song for America, I love. The Wall's great. Hold On, Dust in the Wind, Miracles Are Nowhere. Mysteries and Mayhem, great to hear that live. Carry On Wayward Son and Down the Road, another fine performance from Kansas. The Whisky, done at the Whisky, and it's quite an intimate sort of gig. Great to hear this album. I quite like this, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 4, we have an album that was released in 2021, and it's Point of No Return Live and Beyond. Don't know where it's recorded. This is one that I actually was in my library on Spotify. It's pretty cool. So on here we got Ronnie Platt lead vocals and keyboard, David Ragsdale violin, Tom Brislin keyboards, Rich Williams at guitars, Zach Revizzi on guitars, Billy Greer on the bass, and Phil Earhart on the drums. So basically you get the Point of No Return album in its entirety. So it's Cold Grey Morning, 2 cents worth, The Wall, Song for America, Summer, Musicato, Taking in the View, and Miracles Are Nowhere. Fantastic stuff. Point of No Return, Paradox, The Spider, Portrait, Close Chronicles, Lightning's Hand, Dust of the Wind, Sparks of the Tempest, Nobody's Home, Hopelessly Human, Carry On Wayward Son, People of the South, Refugee, and Lonely Wild. Fantastic album. Okay, it's not the original lineup, but to hear the whole of the Point of No Return album live is just fantastic. I play this a lot. Well, since I discovered it on Spotify, I love playing this because it really is a good. They've not done anything different from the original Point of No Return album. It's just brilliant. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.1. Coming in at number 3 then. Another one that I discovered on Spotify. This is from 2017. And it's Leftoverture, Live and Beyond. This time we get the whole of Leftoverture live. CD1 is Icarus 2. Icarus Born on the Wings of Steel. Point of No Return, Paradox, Journey from the Marabon, Lamplight Symphony, Dust in the Wind, Rhythm of Spirit, The Voyage of the 818, brilliant. Section 60, brilliant. A great version of Carry On Wayward Son, The Wall, What's on My Mind, Miracles of Out of Nowhere, Opus Insert, Questions of My Childhood, The Cheyenne Anthem, the full Magnus Opus, and Portrait, the whole of that he knew. What more do I need? The live version of my favourite Boston, that's another band I like, Kansas album. It's an amazing concert. You know, these musicians play these classics, but I think it helps when you got Rich Williams on the guitar, I suppose, and Phil on the drums. It's a fantastic album. I'll play it to death again because I love that album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9.3. Okay, then coming in at number 2. This is from 2002. It's a CD and a DVD. And it's Device Voice Drum. On here we've got Steve Walsh, keyboards and lead vocals, Robbie Steinhardt on the violin, Rich Williams, Billy Greer, Phil Earhart. Additional people, we've got the New Advent Choir, the String Quartet, which is Teresa Kosh, Cindy Beard and Anna Joyner. So tracks on here, we've got the intro, Alexis and Lightlin's Hand, Icarus 2, Icarus Born on the Wings of Steel, Song for America, which is wonderful, Howling at the Moon, from a little bit of that from Magnus Opus, The Wall, The Preacher, a fantastic version of The Journey of the Maribron, Dust in the Wind, Cheyenne Anthem, Child of Innocence, Miracles of Nowhere, Point of No Return, Portrait and the Pinnacle put together, brilliant stuff. Fight Fire with Fire, Play the Game Tonight, and it ends up with Carry On Wayward Son. Fantastic album. Lovely listening, watching this. I'll watch this, watching Robbie play. Sadly missed. What a great violin player he was. This is just a brilliant album. This DVD is worth watching as well. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9.4. My number one, well, it was always going to be this one, wasn't it? It's released in 1978. And it's recorded over the band's 3 previous tours in 77 and 78. And it's 2 for the show. Classic lineup of Kansas. Robbie Steinhardt, Kerry Livgren, Rich Williams, Dave Hope and Phil Earhart. The best lineup of this band. Opens up with a stonking version of Song for America. Point of No Return. Paradox is brilliant on here. Icarus Born on the Wings of Steel. Brilliant. Portrait. Best version of that. Carry On Wayward Son. Brilliant on live. The definitive version of that song. I love it. Then we got the best version of The Journey of the Maria Bron. Absolutely fantastic. Then we get Dust in the Wind. Lovely acoustic guitar solo from Rich Williams on that. Point of No Return. Lonely Wind. Got Kerry Livgren on the piano. Wonderful. Mysteries and Mayhem. Wonderful version of that. An excerpt of the Lamplight Symphony. Song for America. The Wall. And the most brilliant version and the definitive version of Magnum Opus. Absolutely killer track on that, on there. Then we got Income Road, Hymn to the Atman intro. It's Child of Innocence, Belexis, Cheyenne Anthem, love that track. Lonely Street, Miracles Out of Nowhere, The Spider, which has got a great drum solo from Phil on there. Closet Chronicles, some classic tracks here. Down the Road, Sparks of the Tempest, fantastic. And then they do a version of Bringing It Back of J. Cale. This album, of course, is brilliant. It's one of my favourite live albums. It's just got so much energy, and these are all classic tracks by the band. Some of my favourite tracks are on this album. Some of the definitive versions as well. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. So there we are. Great band. Go and check them out on YouTube. Go and, especially the drum device voice. Go and look at that. That is brilliant. It's probably one of the last sort of things that you'll see Robbie Steinhardt on. That's all for this live album show. I'll be back later with a new album review, and it is the new album by Skid Row, first one in 16 years. It's called The Gang's All Here, so join me for that. Bye for now.